My name is Tim Key and I am an actor. I also write and I do comedy and poetry. I definitely fell into comedy. I think I did some, drama, GCSE, and scored an A. And then I did something called theatre studies at A-level. Again, all over it. I never got any of the big parts, but I was definitely sort of, hanging around and getting the odd line here and there. And then at university, I played Hamlet in Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. And that, I think I then got a little bit of an appetite for doing that. Then I did it was actually a pantomime, and it was a Footlights pantomime, the Comedy Society at Cambridge. I sort of, hoodwinked my way in slightly. I don't think I ever said that I was at Cambridge, but I didn't sort of declare that I wasn't at Cambridge. And then did the pantomime, and then did a show that summer with them in Edinburgh, and that was a sketch show, and that was where it all started. That's how I sort of fell into it. I suppose about 5 years after that, I had an act of sorts. I did sort of poetry and things, and that's sort of it. Alan Partridge, yeah, I enjoyed that show actually. Yeah. It was good, yeah. That was kind of a weird part of it all, really. They phoned me and asked me if I wanted to be in it. No audition. So it's quite sort of quite surreal. That was entirely based on doing Edinburgh. Even if it had just been a show with Steve Coogan that wasn't Partridge, that would have been quite high pressure, I think. But the fact that it was Partridge, I found it incredibly high pressure because I thought I can. I might destroy this franchise. I was on screen with him in all of the episodes. It felt like an almost overwhelming problem. It was very exciting, but you just don't want to get it wrong. Certainly the way I viewed it then was that it was sort of slightly beyond my pay grade to do anything additional to what was in these scripts. I mean, the scripts were really, really good, but Steve would obviously be constantly trying different things and stuff like that, but I felt it was very much my role to just be the person, sort of the man on the ground, trying to help the Alan Partridge creation come to life. There's just 2 fixed cameras, so it means you can, play around a little bit, and he definitely did. I think maybe later on I started to be a bit more free as well, and certainly in the series, this time, I felt like my bits with Steve were really very enjoyable to do. So Wonder Day, it began as a live show. So I did a show maybe about 3 years ago called Megadate. This one was like quite a spare, blank stage, but with these films. And yeah, as I started to sort of put the show together, I think it became about dates or a date. And then some people from the BBC asked me if I'd like to make something called an Easter Funny. I've never filmed any of my shows, so I feel that they're happening in the room. They're a live thing, and I've never adapted any. I don't think I have. So it's just a pressure on yourself to not get it wrong, and have your show is now finished, and the people who came, but that its legacy, the thing that sort of hangs online and is just sort of there, is something that's naff and you don't really like. That was my sort of one driving force, was to really make something that I really enjoyed, that I liked. I set about trying to work out what that would be over 15 minutes. And it was a real headache because obviously making a live show, that's kind of quite an organic thing, and it just sort of builds up gradually, and then it is the length that it is. And so I wasn't quite sure how to do it, but eventually landed upon an idea of, what I could get rid of all of these threads and just have this central thing. And with enough sort of pressure from some adults, I turned that into a script. I think you have to work quite hard, I think. You have to just make stuff. However it happened, I don't know, but I ended up as being someone who went to Edinburgh a lot and so did a lot of shows. Particularly with the solo shows, it's it's incredibly daunting, and you want to pull out of Edinburgh, and you don't enjoy things like May and June and July because you think that you're about to be exposed as a fraud in Edinburgh. But I don't think it's very easy to put that amount of time and energy and go through that amount of stress and anxiety dreams if you don't enjoy it. You can have an end game if you want, but really it's just like having your eye on the next project and making it as good as you can. I would say Steve Coogan is definitely a guru in some respects. It's more sort of just watching him work and stuff, and sort of seeing the shape of his career and seeing his work ethic, and he's always trying new and interesting things, and he's always stretching himself much more than I do. I think my contemporaries are, I guess they're the real gurus, to use the word guru, like Alex Horn and Mark Watson, and then Tom Basden. We sort of spurred each other on, so I would go and watch one of Mark's. He does these 24-hour long shows. I'd watch that and I wouldn't then want to do a 25-hour one, but I would be watching it thinking, I need to make sure that I'm doing something interesting.